Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing today? Love all the chat in here. And Scott, I want to agree with you. I think Jeff mentioned it too, as far as the Dow looking like it's going to break out to the upside. Was noticing that too. So I do want to go over that when we go over the Dow, but we're seeing the three touches on the top side. I want you to pay attention to the trading tip of the day though, just to bring it into perspective. It is looking like it's going to be breaking out to the upside, but remember, today is an inside day. So what that means is inside days are often choppier and more challenging to trade. Manage your risk closely. And remember, I know a lot of you guys know this already, but breakout trades on inside days are often shorter running moves. So keep that piece of information in mind if we are looking to take some of those breakout trade opportunities. I noticed that on some of the charts that where we have the three touches, but then I just go back to the fact that we are inside day. So typically those moves are going to be a little bit shorter running. So manage your risk closely and just understanding that taking those breakout trades, getting that quick momentum move, but potentially not staying too long in those trade setups. So as we've been pulling back, not a whole lot of quality sell territories that have been formed. So all of these have stayed the same from yesterday's session. I did update some of the buy territories. We had a couple buy territories that were a little bit further up, so I included those. Just keep in mind some of these ones were formed on lower volume, so just make sure when you're marking these on your charts, just looking at volume and time of day that they were formed at. Stock pick we had from yesterday, and then we do have one for today, another bullish trending trade opportunity on MMP. I'll go over that in one of the next slides. What's in the news? A little bit mixed today, which kind of makes sense with it being an inside day, and we're still waiting to see if we are going to see a more sustained move to the upside, or if potentially this is just a corrective move and then another impulse move to the downside. So still waiting on that and waiting to see. I know Jeff mentioned before, if we make that higher low and then seeing that transition to the upside come into play. Also, a lot of economic reports coming out. I don't think I could fit them all in here. So just keep that in mind, aligning with the quarter hour, the 10 o'clock reversal. So PMI manufacturing, 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. And then at the 10 o'clock reversal time, we're looking at ISM manufacturing, construction spending, and JOLT. So three different reports coming out, all lining up with that 10 o'clock reversal. So just keep in mind at that time, we could experience a little bit more volatility than normal. Breakout trades opportunities, as I mentioned, I'm seeing a lot of those places on the charts where we're seeing the three touches, and a lot of those buy and sell orders being used up. But then again, just going back to the trading tip of the day and understanding that we can get those momentum moves, but likely just staying in for a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 may be better with it being an inside day. Next, so this was our stock pick from yesterday. And then I mentioned the one for today is going to be MMP. Entry is going to be at 52.33. Our stop is going to be at 50.08. And then again, based off of the market conditions and just how choppy they have been lately, if you're looking for an initial target of just a 1-to-1, looking at initial target price of 54.17. And then we will recap at the end to see where we're at. But again, still currently inside day, so not seeing a whole lot of momentum to the upside or to the downside. So what that means is today's not the day to be over trading necessarily. Today's more the day where we want to see where the market's going to be likely going. Are we going to see more of a move to the upside or potentially more of a move to the downside? But with the consolidation and it being an inside day, that makes trading a little bit more challenging for us. Going back out to the news again, just briefly going over the news, seeing a little bit of bullish news, but also a little bit of bearish news. You can see Yahoo Finance stock futures edge higher to kick off June. And then Citi, we do think more downside is warranted. So a little bit mixed what we're seeing. And again, we're just ultimately looking at the charts and seeing what information is present to rely on whether we're looking to go long or go short. And then as I've mentioned, economic reports coming out, a lot of economic reports, and also several Fed chairmen speaking later in the day. So again, just keeping an eye on 9:45, 10 a.m. is where we have those 3 reports coming out, and then 2 Fed chairmen speaking. We all know that this is what also causes more volatility in the markets is when they're speaking. That's going to be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time and at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then we do have Beige Book at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So always make sure you're checking Econo Day and just looking at what reports are coming out for the day, if there's any Fed chairman speaking, and then tying that into the other pieces of information that we're seeing in our pre-market routine. So taking a look at oil, our short trade worked out pretty well yesterday. So it was looking like it was breaking out to the upside, which it did. We had a nice little move to the upside, but then price quickly reversed. We also had the 3 touches on the downside, and we had our 1-minute sell territory marked. So oil trade there. Did anyone take oil? I don't recall. This was kind of a last minute one, I believe. I'm not sure if anyone grabbed it, but we did see we got a nice move off that. So if you missed it, we do have the 1-minute sell territory that we marked from yesterday's session. That's going to be at, let me get that entry price, 118.5 with our stop at 118.78. We can see it right below it. I marked where we could see the 3 touches of support coming into play. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before price broke to the downside. So we're looking for those unfilled sell orders just above that support area. And then also waiting on this buy territory down here. So again, we're looking for that same picture, but just the reverse of it. Here's where we had that resistance on the top side. And then we do have on the 14-minute time frame, leg base group of candles right over here. Entry on that is going to be at 113.61 with our stop at 112.85. That is oil. Now let's jump over to the equity indexes. So as I mentioned, starting off, it is inside day. So just managing our risk and expectations for today, gonna see potential volatility and even look at today's price action. So just the size of the candle compared to the other candles, we can see very small amount of movement today as far as price action. The low point was 41.25, the high point was 41.56. Just a very tight range as far as where price has been moving. Again, if we're choosing our buy and sell opportunities in and around this area, we're just going to be in a more consolidated space. That's going to make trading a little bit more challenging. So again, we had this rally. We're just waiting to see if now we could be having a correction back to our buy territory, and then we see a more sustained move to the upside, or if we're going to potentially keep moving to the upside. So a couple of things we want to pan out, but just looking for a lot of these buy territories where we could see this consolidation and then this big move to the upside. Potentially price could come back down here to the origin of this move to the upside. Again, main thing that we got to know is for today is that inside day, choppy market conditions, elevated risk, and just managing our risk very closely. So a couple areas I was seeing for those breakout trade opportunities. You know, we mentioned Dow was looking like it's going to break out to the upside. This area we could see here, we had our sell territory over here. Price has tested it once, twice. So if price continues to move to the upside, going to be waiting for price to come up here a 3rd time. Then we may look to take the breakout to the upside as long as we have the leg base group of candles right below it. Also on the bottom side, we can see price tested this support area once, twice, 3, 4 times right in here. So potential breakout opportunity to the downside if we break below these lows over here. That's going to be at right about 41.23. Hey, you still got a nice move, Daniel. What did you get on that one? You said, I think 250. It's still good, especially for the market conditions. Nice. So yeah, potential breakout to the downside on S&P where we can see the support area. But then again, if we come back down, we're going to look for that bounce, leg base group of candles, and then potentially get more momentum to the downside. So here we can see where price is currently at. As I mentioned on the daily chart, we could see it was a very small candle. So zooming into the 15-minute time frame, we see price is really just stuck within this range up here. So you want to look up and to the left and down and to the left to find those quality buy and sell territories. I believe I added this one, the 7-minute buy territory. You can see we had 1, 2, 3 touches, resistance, and then our buy territory just below that area. So that one's going to be at 40.64.75 with our stop at 40.55.75.
Order filled.
And then just make sure you go down to the 7-minute time frame to isolate that leg base group of candles. But in the meanwhile, still range bound. So again, inside day, if we do get a breakout to the upside or to the downside, just looking for that quick momentum, that one-to-one, but then understanding that on inside days, we often get that breakout and price reverses, or price breaking out to the downside, it may also reverse. So just keep that in mind. Nasdaq, again, very small candle for today, and we are inside day. Going down to the 15-minute time frame. So just very choppy back and forth. Looking at this area similarly with the S&P, where we can see price use this area once, twice, 3, 4 times right in here. If you want to isolate that range, you'd use this group of candles right over here, just extending that across to show where those sell tickets were being used up or currently are being used up. So this whole range, potential breakout to the upside is going to be above, I would use these highs over here, which would be above 12,770.25. And potentially down here as well, I can see this area where price looks like it tested it once, twice, 3 times. So we have resistance being used, or the sell tickets being used, buy tickets being used. But again, just understanding if you are going to take that breakout, they often are short-lived on inside days. And then just taking a step back out. So still have this pocket of points over here. I couldn't really find the 3 touches on the top side here. I found more 2 touches. It was hard to find the 3 distinct touches. More what I saw was that this area just below had been tested a few times. So if price does start to come through this area, we may see a breakout below this area that's been used several times. And then a buy territory just below. But before we get down there, still just understanding that we're in this consolidated space, looking for potential breakouts. But if you are going to take those breakouts, just managing your risk and finding that leg base group of candles. Let's take a look at the Russell. Again, daily candle, very small inside day, so very choppy market conditions. Going down to the 15-minute time frame. I believe this buy territory I added, it was on the 7-minute time frame. So we could see we had the resistance once, twice, 3 times. Price pulled back and then had this very strong move to the upside. So on the Russell, that one is going to be at 1842.1. And then our stop is going to be at 1838. Now potential breakout to the downside. Looks like we have 2 touches on the upside right in here. You can see this stack of orders here. Price has tested it once, twice. So we really need that pullback, that 3rd touch to then take the breakout to the upside. But right now we only have 2 touches there. So I'm going to remove that. Coming back down, we can see prices use this area once, twice, 3, 4 times. This area may qualify better for that breakout to the downside on the Russell. Yeah, not a whole lot of sell territories. Prices really just been dropping. We can see looking down at volume, just very light volume on this move to the downside. So not a whole lot of quality sell territories on that move to the downside. Again, if we get back down here, the breakout point would be below this low right over here, which would be 1860.2. I believe all of these are going to be the ones on the prep screen. So make sure you guys take a picture of this one. But the 3 that I just mentioned where we have those 3 touches are going to be these 3 in the bottom right corner under the breakout trade opportunities. And then lastly, going over to the Dow, let's see where we're at on that one. Again, just managing expectations inside day, very small candle, smaller time frames. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. So it does really look like we're breaking out to the upside. Let's isolate that. It's going to be this whole range here where these sell orders have been used once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Do we have the leg base group of candles? If we are going to take the breakout would be above 33,227. See, we have leg, base, 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 leg, base. So we do have leg base group of candles. But this one's pretty far away on the Dow, so our stop would be at 33,025. Who also sees an issue with the location of this leg base group of candles? So if we were placing our stop down here below that group of candles, what is the issue as far as the location of? Excellent, guys. Nice job, everyone. Perfect. So we can see if we look to the left, this area has been used once, twice, 3, 4 times. So price actually coming back down here, we may see more of a breakout trade opportunity to the downside. So great job. Make sure that you guys are paying attention to where your leg base is, which you definitely are. So let's see. I think someone mentioned 5 minutes, Scott. Thank you so much. Let's find one in a little bit better location since that one is far away and it's not in the best location. See leg base. Oh, I see right at the breakout. Good call, Scott. Shout out to you on that one. We have our 5-minute one right at the breakout point. So this is definitely what we like to look for, is as close to the breakout point as possible. We have our leg base. Yeah, Daniel's got it too, 5-minute forming right before the breakout. So let's set this one up. And again, understanding it is inside day and our breakout trades typically are shorter lived. So it's going to be a buy custom with stop. Buy stop order is going to be above that breakout point. Find it right over here. Looks like at 33,231. It's going to be a buy stop order, and then our sell stop is going right below our leg base at 33,152. You got something to add, Jeff?
Yeah, you know, as you've been pointing out several times this morning about the inside day and the breakout. So on this type of trade with this market condition, kind of remember what happened to crude oil yesterday when we're taking that breakout and it popped up and then all of a sudden totally reversed. Okay. So if that were to happen on the equity indexes, how would you flip the trade around and participate? Okay, it's, you might see that quick little pop up to the upside, and then it starts to go against you, and then you freeze. So how would you kind of flip that around to your benefit to take it to the downside, especially if on inside day, we kind of expecting that little pop, and if it drops really quickly, kind of read the signs, kind of like what we saw yesterday on crude oil. And it turned out if you got that short off of that little reversal, you would have been done really good. So anyways, I just wanted to add that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, great comment, Jeff. I'm so glad you pointed that out. So, what Jeff is saying is that if price does start going against us, how can we take advantage of that? Matt's nailed it, saying use the dead space all the way down through there. So we can see we have the 3 touches on the top, 3 touches on the bottom. If we start pushing through this dead space, we have a breakout point opportunity right here. We would just then look for the leg base, take the breakout to the downside. But George is saying hit the reverse button, but making sure that you're finding the leg base to manage your risk. So we'll see what happens. We're starting to get that push to the upside. Let's just finish our pre-market routine. So all the equity indexes do seem correlated, moving to the upside, which we're seeing, looking for that potential breakout. See, bonds are also moving to the upside. So typically we want to see bonds, of course, moving to the downside, equity indexes moving higher, seeing that inverse correlation. Internals, we'll keep an eye on the trend. So when the markets spike up and we see trend is low, that could indicate that there's some selling coming into play. So keep that in mind. If we do, again, see that spike up and the trend is low, that could just be some selling into that rally and the markets may pull back. And then lastly, pre-market indicator looks like pretty much flat. So again, we are inside day, so we're not maybe a small gap up in the pre-market, but nothing really substantial where typically we like to see these big gap ups or gap downs. Alrighty, I'm going to pass it back over to Jeff now. We'll keep an eye on the Dow, but just again, keep in mind the market conditions for today. And remember the daily candle, very, very small. We haven't seen a whole lot of movement. So that's going to be making those breakout trades a little bit more elevated risk. All right, thank you guys. Jeff, it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Good job. As we've been expressing, the inside day is that kind of choppy range. Now, just come back through some of the indexes, you can see that Russell has a lot of work to do to get outside the prior day's trading range. Okay, and if we come to the Dow doesn't have that much to go to get outside the prior day's trading range. Nasdaq has a lot more work to do. Let's see, 24 right there, and S&P still has quite a bit of work to do. So these are little subtleties, okay, that you kind of pay attention to. It's like, well, if we were going to take any breakout, what would we take it on? Well, we'd look at the Dow because it's closest to breaking out of the prior day's trading range, okay? But we still have to kind of remember what happened on crude oil yesterday when we got that nice break. I mean, it was beautifully set up. We even had the leg base, pop, and then drop. And then once price broke that support, that's where, Trade Caitlin pointed out, taking the breakout to the downside, got a nice little move, consolidated. This is what they would call is a bear flag. Okay, you notice the slight upward sloping channel. And of course, you got the flagpole right here and the continued move to the downside. what you're seeing right now is the trade on the open range breakout, and we're just breaking above the Globex high. Anybody grab that one? You know, we talked about it just right at the open. And typically when we're on inside days like this, you know, jumping into crude oil or some of the other products is pretty welcome. You know, you don't have to just stick with all the equity indexes, and you want to have something like Daniel pointed out, gold. Okay, got a nice little breakout to the upside. I think I was looking, I'm still got my order sitting here. I was looking for the bearish side, but it did break out to the upside. Okay. And got a nice little move up into that range, and has gone through a couple of these little supply areas there. Okay. At any rate, let's come back out to the S&P, kind of see what it's doing. And we're about 4 minutes away from the market open. Might see some of that volatility. Taking a look at the Dow 30 stocks. Okay, we have 8 Dow 30 stocks plus over 94 cents and nothing negative. Okay, so if we take the Dow 30 stocks and we take the number that are positive and negative over that 94 cents, and we net the results, right now we're looking at 8 Dow stocks positive over 94 cents. We take that number and multiply it by 2 when we're looking at the S&P. So 8 times 2 is 16. Now, this is just a statement. It does not mean there's a trade. Cash equals 16. Futures are trading at 23. Okay. So if cash is at 16 and futures are at 23, then futures are overbought relative to cash. A statement. Okay. We just saw 3M come in, so that even took one away. So now we're looking at 7 Dow stocks, or sorry, 8 Dow stocks positive, 1 negative, net results 7 positive. Okay. And times 2 is 14. So cash equals 14. Futures are overbought, or sorry, S&P futures are overbought relative to the cash. Okay. Now, along with that information, as we're looking at the trend, okay, we're seeing that there's potentially you know, with the trend being above 2, we're going to look for maybe a push to the upside. So those breakout trades may still be short-lived, but still be a play. But are they going to be a play right at the open? See, that's what we have to kind of consider there. Other key factors is watching the US dollar and plotting all of your zones on the US dollar to kind of see where the playing field is. Start with some larger time frames and then work your way in. I mean, US dollar is finally in that downtrend since about the 12th of May. Okay. And it still continues to look for where we have a demand zone. Okay. Or nice fresh buy territory. And that might be looking right down here at 100.57 in that range. Okay. But this is not a very bullish signal. It often looks like the dollar may continue to slide a little bit there. All right, so we're right here at the open. Let's see. Are you guys in the Dow trade? Anybody get into that yet? Make sure you manage your risk. You know, even looking at the tick chart just to see what's going on right there. Okay, and this is a round number tick chart. Okay, I just modified it so I could teach in the last Discord group. We kind of watch these price patterns. I did find a nice leg base right in this area, but I also noticed it did pop above that and then came right back down. So not even though the market's open, it's still not giving a lot of confidence that it's going to break out to the upside. Just watching the number of contracts there. If it does, we're looking for a sell territory up 33,364. Here you go. Okay, nice little move there. And let's come back over here. So once it breaks out of the prior session's high, we still have to be reminded that these indexes do travel together, okay, and often can travel at different speeds, but they travel in generally the same direction. So our dashboard is really key importance to kind of watch the indexes together. We also see that bonds coming off of that support, going back into that dead space, and they've been in a nice little channel around here. Okay, so if the bonds are going to go up and the equity indexes are running into some of these sell territories, okay, and inside day, we're getting a lot of conflicting signals. Okay, now this is typical on an inside day where we do get the a lot of conflicting signals. All right, just kind of remember how you're going to flip this around if it starts, you know, because we just saw a little spike and then pop right back down. So we're going to see how that's going to play out. I'm going to keep referencing the tick chart because I want to see if there's a lot of activity. The market just opened and each one of these candles represent 380 trades or transactions. And we haven't made that many candles. Okay. Not for an opening rush. So that raises a red flag for me. Okay. Nasdaq looking good. Okay, we've got the prior session's high. And just looking at the stocks in the first few minutes of everything being open. Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Google all have gaps up. And we'll see how those hold out. S&P also broke above the Globex high, right up into that resistance area. Okay, we'll see if there's still some more selling going on up there. Whoa, there we go. I'm kind of getting to that feel good. We're just about up to resistance there. So nice little breakout. How many were participating in the open range breakout? Nice. Now I've modified my trading plan a little bit in not just taking 1 or 2 micros. I'm now going to start adjusting to like a half of an E-mini. Okay, so I'm back up around 5 contracts on each one of these. And that's just my plan. I found that I had a kind of a flaw as far as I wanted a certain dollar amount and I wasn't getting it with 1 or 2 micros. Okay, maybe it's just my head. Okay, but I wasn't getting, so I'd stay in trades too long. So to help me fix that, you know, I just went with a larger number of contracts so that I could get closer to the dollar amount to meet my daily goal. And I found that, well, it's smaller moves, you know, and that's okay. Yeah, it was just one of those things that I had to kind of work through. When all that big downturn, I was just holding on to trades that were very profitable, and I was giving back some of my profits. So, and that's just to kind of let you guys all know that we, even as experienced traders, we tend to go through these little drama things, I guess you could call them, every now and again. Okay, I'm getting to that point where this is feeling pretty good about the profits. So I'm going to look to take one more snapshot of this, and then I'm going to exit, and I'm watching the time as well. Of course, taking one for the team, like Daniel tells me, and yeah, I'm out. Maybe
order filled.
I'll grab that and see, that satisfies what I need to make on a day-to-day basis. Okay, wasn't in the trade that long. It was a nice little open range breakout and so on. Whoa, there's that. Yeah, remember what we were talking about on the Dow. Okay. So remembering our lesson from crude oil yesterday, we have a support down here right at the prior session's low. Now, how many also remember one of those rules that we talk about in the yeah, George, it was 5 on MCL. Yeah. Now, on these equity indexes, we noticed that price gapped up inside the prior day's trading range. And that was the same on the S&P. Okay, we're inside the range, we gapped up. So right at the open. What often happens when we gap up or down inside the prior day's trading range? What's another one of those rules that we kind of remember? Gap fill. Great, Chris. And so if gaps often fill the same trading day when we gap up or down inside that prior day's trading range, which direction does price have to go to fill the gap? Okay. So this is why, be very cautious on what you're doing as far as taking breakout trades. Keep in mind that gaps fill often on the same trading day. And if the gap were to fill, that would be pretty bearish for a lot of people, wouldn't it? Okay. If we're up over 220 points, and to fill that gap, that would be given back 220 points. Okay. And then people's sentiment may change, and we might sell off and come down to the lower zones. Okay. Now, I don't have a setup to go short until price, at least on the Dow, until price breaks that Globex low. Okay. So what I'd like to see first is price to come down here. 3 out of 4 times it'll bounce off of support. And then we'll look for that leg base group of candles. I know it's a lot of rules. Well, not rules, they're just little things that we incorporate into our trade to kind of understand that these are specific circumstances that happen over and over again. Okay. And it's not that every one of them is going to make a trade. Like the inside day does not make a trade for me. It's a piece of information that tells me the weather conditions. Okay. Bring an umbrella. Okay. Very rainy outside. Okay. So inside days are just one of those pieces of information that we use to kind of say the markets are a little bit rough and choppy, and we just plan for that behavior. Okay. A nice little reversal off that. Not hate to ask this, was anybody take the trade short? I didn't find any sell territories. Now, I also want to point out, as we're looking at where we are at this point, let's maximize the chart. And as I decrease the bar spacing, okay, and I want to get a bigger picture of what is going on and where we are at. Okay. Hope people get it all on there. Okay. But we're right in the middle of that big pocket of points. A very light volume drop that happened on the 5th or 6th of May. Okay. It looks like the 5th of May. Okay. Cinco de Mayo. So price had come into that territory of the pocket of points. We've had a nice climb out of this for several days since the 20th of May going up. We've had a nice little uptrend, okay, on short term. And kind of realizing where we're at now, we're like, okay, that makes sense to have those levels to the upside. 33,793 is right on the other side of that pocket of points, okay. All right, let's get ready for some of these trades. Now, how many remember the breakout trade yesterday on crude oil? Okay. Let's just take a quick look at that. And I want to point that out. When that breakout happened, okay, and then it broke that support, it wasn't a clean sweep drop. I mean, it stayed there for about 20 minutes right in that range. That's why it's important to get that leg base group of candles, okay? And once the leg base group of candles was formed, let's see if we can pull it up here. We were able to manage our risk a little bit better. I just can't remember which time frame it was on. But I also want to point out, yeah, we had it right in there, okay? So that activity, we got the initial breakout, then it popped back up, chop, 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 probably stopped out a few people and then tanked, okay? So I'm looking for a very similar behavior once we get that, or we get down to that level here on these other equities, okay? We still have a little time. As price comes down to the support, we're going to look for a little bounce, and then we're going to look for a leg base, and then we'll take the trade short. Everybody sound like a good plan? But see, we took a picture of crude oil and the behavior, especially with the spike up and the drop, okay? We took that picture and now we're more prepared to take our stop. We're more prepared not to be really bullish at this point. We gathered some information about the inside day, and that gaps often fill the same trading day on an inside day, okay? And we're bringing in the cash market. We have 9 Dow stocks positive over 94 cents, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative. So we got 3 positive as a net result. Times 2 is 6. Right now, S&P futures are overbought by about 14 points, okay? So if futures are overbought, we want to look for price to go into a sell territory. No problem, Scott. Yeah, in all of this, if I'm going to 5 contracts, that doesn't mean everybody else has to, okay? Everybody needs to stick with their own risk, okay? If you're comfortable trading 1 and that's where you're at, then we'll stick with that, okay? I just had to work through my own little hiccups, or however you want to say it, my own little challenges with holding on to a position too long and trying to anticipate a much bigger move when I should have just grabbed those profits. So I kind of reevaluated myself and said, well, why am I holding on to these? Okay. And it was because I had just a couple of micros. If I looked at a mini, man, this would have been substantial. But that's not what the case. Anyways. Dropping down to 2 minute, we don't have any breakout areas in here in the overnight session. So it's about waiting right now. Gap fill, and then a break to the downside on S&P. Let me get some numbers for you. Breakout trade is 41.22 or 41.23. Okay, and the target would be about 40.81 and 40.77. Okay. Nasdaq doesn't have that same support as I was looking for. Okay. Yeah, all these have nice gaps up. Looks like they're starting to retrace. Oh, it's right on the 1/4 hour. That's why.
Hey, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah.
Cool. Just real quick, because I've been keeping an eye on the Dow. It looks like we're right at that breakout point to the downside. So as we saw, we had the potential to reverse, which we did. Dropping down to the 1 minute time frame, I noticed how this area has been tested once, twice, three, four times. So I'm waiting to see if we do form that leg base right in here to then take that breakout to the downside. But just if you do like go into the very small time frames, we have this area that's been tested. Right now, it looks like we have the leg, base, 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 leg out, just waiting on that last base. And if we do get that, then we could place our stop above that group of candles. But if not, I'm not seeing another leg base quite yet, and I'm all the way down on the 1 minute right now. But again, if this candle closes as a base, we can use that for the breakout. And then we'd be anticipating price may continue lower, where we were looking at on the higher time frame and seeing how this area had also been used up. So potential breakout here. And then if we do get that breakout, we could stay in it a little bit longer or add on to that position, taking a breakout below those lows. So just wanted to point that out to you guys.
Yeah, I didn't catch that on the 1 minute, that little support area. Nice.
Thanks. All righty, flipping it back to you.
All right, we're back up there. Yeah, I didn't catch that 1 minute breakout. I'm using a lot of comparisons for like on crude oil that we saw yesterday. So I'm very reserved on this, okay? As far as taking the breakout without having a leg base group of candles, okay? I'm kind of looking at the larger time frame. There's a large pocket of points down below. Our first initial target, I would say, should be right there to that support area, about 32,918. Okay, so we're looking at almost a 100-point drop from here. And as we do approach that breakout area at 33.24, okay, I'm going to drop this down, smaller time frame. Wow, nice move. Okay. Remember, what we observed on crude oil yesterday was the breakout came in and then it popped back up into the range. And then I had a leg base, and taking the breakout gave us the bigger move. Okay. So that's what I'm hoping for. I may miss the trade totally because I'm waiting for that bounce. Okay. May miss it totally. But should I get that bounce up and get the leg base, I don't have to sit through a lot of the heat. Okay. And then it reaffirms a couple of things that we've been talking about earlier, as far as, you know, waiting or hitting that, getting the bounce up and then looking for the move to break. Okay. NQ is almost going opposite direction. And IBM and Goldman Sachs have kind of split their direction. One is down, one is up. Good inside day. As far as the Nasdaq stocks, they're still pretty strong. Amazon, oh man, that's just a tremendous move. You know, when those billionaires get out there and start giving the president a hard time publicly about the markets, got to take note of that. Because, you know, this country runs on money, and those billionaires are a large, large influence on our government. So just have to kind of anticipate some of that. All right. How are we doing on the Dow? Come on, charts. Okay. All right, watching the time. Now, if we can get a bounce up over the next 10 minutes, that would be a beautiful thing, okay? Unless you're already in short, okay? And then about the 10 o'clock, if price comes up, we can look for that reversal. Okay. Sorry, Scott. Let's see. Not a ton of room to run on that YM short, just above the gap fill. Okay, NQ on tech heavy rally. Let's go take a look at the internals. Well, inside day, let's start with the advancing issues over declining issues. We're right in the middle of the no trade zone. So we have about equal number of advancing issues over declining issues, okay? We equate that often happens when we're inside the prior day's trading range and have not broken to the upside or the downside, okay? As far as the tick goes, we're right there on that, that middle axis point. So we're neither in a strong buy program or a strong sell program. In a way, we're kind of in a no trade zone, the same as advancing issues over declining issues. As we look at the trend is not excessively low, but it is, you know, in that consolidation range between 80 and 122 or 80 and 120. And then of course our extremes are 200 and below 60. Okay. A lot of feeler gauge right here. It's more on the bearish side. Okay. There's readings about, well, bearish for the equities, not for the trend. Okay. Just want to be clear on that. And but this is what's got me too, okay, is the VIX. This is the volatility index, and we're right there at that support area. So this leads me to believe that if you can read this technically, okay, which I don't, because it's just an oscillator to me. But if it starts to break below this little support, okay, that's going to cause the market to be more bearish, okay? When the VIX is high, time to buy. When the VIX is low, time to go, okay? So when we get to extreme complacency or extreme fear, volatility. But this one is right at that support where we could jump into extreme complacent, which would then mean more of a rally to the upside. There we go. All right. Let's put that back on a 1 minute chart. And let's get that set up. $33,007. Okay. I'm setting that up, take the breakout down there. I still will wait for the leg base. Okay. Right now, I would be observing this if everything played out. Okay, I might be using this area up here, which I'm just marking right now, as my stop loss. I still need a leg base group of candles before activating that trade. Let's see. Let's come over to tick chart for a moment. Go down there. Really close right in there. So we might even be able to look, you know, as it broke, we might look at 33.95, 33.142 is that short opportunity. You'd have to adjust the tick frame up or down in order to get the details that we're sharing with you. Okay. All right, still waiting for that leg base. Are you guys finding this kind of cool to kind of keep going? I mean, we're going over the same information. I really want to point out, and as Caitlin has also, is that the inside day is where a lot of students get back their money. Okay, we overtrade. We have a lot of signals just using the S&P. Well, we've got Goldman Sachs going down, IBM flat or going up, mix. Okay, we see that futures are overbought relative to the cash market. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 7. Okay, so 7 positive, 12 negative, leaves me with a net negative of 5. Okay, times 2 would be negative 10. Okay, so right now the S&P futures are overbought. Okay, by about 31 points. Overbought by 31 points. So when the market's overbought, we want to look for an opportunity to sell short in a sell territory, or when it's oversold, we want to look for an opportunity to buy in a buy territory there. Yeah, that's one thing. You know, look at this. Nasdaq's just going ballistic to the upside. S&P is kind of straddling it, and Dow's going negative. Another clue of an inside day. Okay, difficult trading environment. You want to address that, Caitlin? Let's see, Chris, for leg base now. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, sure. I'm just keeping an eye on, because I think we had a leg base, the one that you marked a little bit higher. But I'm just keeping an eye on right in this area. So taking the breakout below these lows here at 33,004, if we get the leg base right in this area, then we can place our stop just above, looks like 33,089. So then we're taking less risk versus if we used the sell territory up here, then that would be a lot more risk. So that's why I'm keeping an eye on what's going down here. Right now we have leg, base, base, leg. So if this last candle is a base, then I'm going to isolate that group of candles, take the breakout below these lows, and then we can place our stop at 33,089. But really, I mean, it's just kind of waiting at this point for those candles to form to then, you know, place our leg base, take the breakout, because it all could just be forming right now. So just keep an eye on that.
You know, I'm going to make one more reference back to that crude oil when we had the breakout yesterday. And we'll come back. Oh, looks like you got the leg base, so you can adjust your stop.
Yeah, so then I'll just set up I didn't even have an order set up. But again, yeah, going back to what happened yesterday, you know, just taking those quick breakouts is often better since we can see them reverse against us. But right now I'll do the sell custom with stop, taking the breakout below 33,004. It's going to be a sell stop order. So confirmation, taking the breakout to the downside if we get below that point. And then our stop is going to be above this high, which is 33,090. Firm and send, sell stop 33,004 with our buy stop above that pending leg base group of candles, 33,090. Now we wait. So theoretically, if price does break through and go higher, then I'll just take off this leg base, and we'll look for another one to form. Because I mean, right now this is a pending sell territory. It's not considered active until we actually get that breakout to the downside.
Order fill.
Now we wait. Did you just get in?
Yeah.
There we go. And I grabbed a quick profit before on the breakout.
What's your target that you have
Target, let's see. There we go, getting a nice move up 150 already. So below here, I'd be targeting this 9-minute buy territory right in here. So we can see we have the 3 touches right over here. Buy territory on the 9-minute time frame just below. That's going to be at 32,614. So I'm just looking for the 3 touches and then the buy territory below for target 1. But if it feels good, again, as we talked about, it's inside day. We're up, $100 right now. We're looking for those quick profits on days like this, since it can go and reverse against us.
And was this a breakout trade on an inside day?
Right, remember the prep screen? Breakout trades on inside days are often shorter running moves, which, we're seeing that today anyways, as far as the breakout to the upside, but then we flipped it and now it's breaking out to the downside. And yeah, so target price 32,614.
Okay. I also had I think down on that small time frame there, looking to the left, there was a support area about 32,918.
Oh, I see right in here. Yeah, good call. So maybe initial target, what you're saying, 32,918, where we can see prices found this stack of orders over here once, twice already. So we may get a bounce off that point.
Yeah, that's where my initial my initial first move was that 32,918. If I can get that, and then I'll be if it goes through that area, then I'm looking for the lower levels that you just pointed out.
Good call.
All right, great job, everybody. I mean, at least we know what we're getting into at this point. We know that we took extra risk on the trade. It's kind of like coming up to the crosswalk, and the crosswalk says, don't walk, but you assess the conditions and you choose to take the risk, okay? Now, also let me point out, okay, we're looking at this picture right now, okay, where we're showing a nice little profit at first, and then it kind of went against us, okay, using our stop. But the moment it did go against you, what happened up here in the head? Did you feel fear? Did you cringe? Okay. Now, if you're getting any of those emotions, okay, then this is equated to this trading environment. Okay. Now, watch what's going on right here, and then we're going to bring up the crude oil. Okay. See, we had that break, bounced up, another break, bounced up, went slightly higher than that leg base group of candles. Okay. And then it crashed through it. Okay. It is possible. Okay. Now we have a very similar thing where price goes above that area. Okay. If it should, how would you get back into that trade? You would look for that breakout again down to, once it broke that low, okay, you would step back into it, okay? We talked about this a while back. How do you stay in those trades? How do you gauge those type of trades? How do you know when to get in again if it's not going in your direction, okay? And these are all, part of that same conversation. So if you took the trade short, and when it went back and got close to the stop, if you felt those emotions and you get a chance to get out and break even, then you might want to embrace that. You might say, just own it. Say, hey, I'm not mentally ready for getting stopped out today. Okay. And inside days are very common to get emotions on both sides. Okay. This is why I kind of take the step, inside days, choppy, designed to take your money, and so on. Because now you're starting to experience, I got green again. Okay. Again, it's that inside day. Okay. And yeah, we're right at 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock is right when, we could equate that to a time too. We got the breakdown. 9, oh yeah. Anyways, we correlate that with the time around that reversal as well. Okay. How many guys took that one? I know we didn't have a lot of trades today. I got open range breakout. But we can do the same thing now, not so much on the Russell. Russell's already gone. Let's see what's Nasdaq doing. Oh, Russell's just flying. And Nasdaq has a long way to go. And we'll have to wait for a similar circumstance on the S&P. Okay. Just the YM. So that first little level, I'll go a little larger time frame now, about 2 minute. And I want to give you an idea. See, I took that on a small time frame. We had this area right in here between about 32,918 and 32,872. Okay, so that's a support area, and that was going to be my initial target. Okay. Now, if price intersects here on the quarter hour, then I'm going to be more willing to take a quick profit. Okay. If it arrives in the zone earlier than the quarter hour, I'm going to slowly make my decision on that. I'll keep my finger on the button, ready to take profit, but I'm going to also be ready to stay in the trade as it comes down to the lower levels that Caitlin pointed out earlier, 32,613. So the information that we're looking at now, okay, let's return back to the crude oil trade or setup yesterday. Okay, it had that initial drop and then it made a series of higher lows. Okay, this is that bear flag that it was forming. With a bear flag, okay, price often breaks out on the 5th time. So you would see price from the flagpole come in. That's 1. Got point number 2. Point number 3. 4. And then we had to break out on 5. Okay. And this is typical when we have pennants, flags, wedges, those type of patterns. Okay. Is the breakout often happens on the 5th time. If it's a high tight base or a low tight base, like we see up here, you got once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Once, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got that. That was yeah. The breakout was on 0.7. That was yesterday. Okay. But the important part of these base patterns here is you do need to have the move into it. There we go. We still got 4 minutes. RTY has it broken? No, it just broke the prior session's low, so no longer an inside day. Now, one of the comments we also made earlier is that gaps often fill on the inside day. Are you starting to internalize some of that information now? Okay, it is very often a gap will fill if we price gaps up or down inside the prior day's trading range. Okay, and we have to, it's one of those things that I have to remind myself constantly about, to include also an inside day. Okay, is all the things that go along with it, the emotions, the way that we handle trades, how they arrive at a buy territory or sell territory. Initially, I would look to react when price hit this area. But as we correlate that to a time of day, that price arrived into that buy territory early, I'm kind of holding back on just reacting and getting out, only to miss the bigger move. Okay. We'll see how that happens. We got about 4 more minutes. Let's see. Yeah, the gray line down here is yesterday's low. I would anticipate yesterday's low to also act like a support or resistance area. How you guys doing? Got the death grip on the mouse? Daniel must be doing good. I haven't heard a lot from Daniel today. Good to see you, Callie. Now, I do want to make it clear that anytime you feel good about the profits, if you've met your daily goal, it is okay to take the money. Okay. Nice job. Got to have that feel good button. Now, notice also, I started changing the time frame to kind of slow down the tempo of the chart. Okay. And then take a look at the way the volume is acting over here. Okay. We're still fairly light volume on these drops. Okay. We got 2 minutes to the quarter hour. Come on, break down. How much you up on that trade, Caitlin? Or you taking profit already?
I took my profits on the bounce.
Pays for another jet ski, doesn't it?
Almost.
It's expensive over there. How you guys doing? You guys, you walking through all of this with us? Okay. I'm gonna try not to jump around too much, other than just take a peek at the S&P. All right, we got the S&P, hit that support, cracked it. Okay, now let's drop down on the smaller time frame. Okay, there we go. Kind of looking at the same scenario for the S&P. Got the leg base, leg base. And now we're starting to see that the markets are in tandem. Okay. Right on the quarter hour. Come on, break that level, break it. You can do it. There it goes. Nice job, Jacob. So we may not get the S&P, okay, until it comes back up to 4125-ish, okay? Might not get that one. Now, how far, another quiz, okay, how far does price have to move away from that zone before that zone becomes active? 2 to 1. Okay, great. Okay. So let's find where that 2 to 1 is at. So once price breaks 41.10, then that zone becomes active. And then we can, if we get a retracement back up, then we have an opportunity to splice into that. Okay. All right, so good. We took that out. Now yesterday's low, about 32,728. That'll be the next targeted area where I expect a bounce. And what I'm doing is I'm practicing taking more of these snapshots for our trading session. As you know, we're starting to implement some other coaching sessions that we're going to be doing more of. And a lot of it's to showcase our successful trades. For some of you that, if you did not get to attend our coaching last week on Thursday, I don't know if I have that up there. I'll have to maybe bring that up towards the end of the session here, is to bring that back up and just show you some of the highlights of what happened last week in our live trading room on the trades that Kaylin and I took in there. That's why I'm capturing the pictures, just so we can have a good storyline to kind of show you the setups and so on. All right, so the market, I did not have a good support area for the NQ. But if I have any question about staying in the trade, this little workspace over here where we have Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, okay, is what I'm starting to watch for. The candles are still relatively good shape as far as the trend. So I'm not really getting shaken out of the trade yet, okay? But if we start going down and all of a sudden the candles get smaller and smaller as, you know, prices dropping down, then I would start to anticipate a short-term change, okay, or reversal, okay? And I would correlate that to the time. Now, often we get those little pivot points around the quarter hour, okay? So as these stocks keep going lower, I want to watch the size of the candles, okay? Remember, there's so many little pictures on the price chart that keep us in those trades, okay? And we want to find reasons to, you know, hold on to it and not getting wigged out on a couple of little pullbacks, okay? 5 minute. There's a prior session's low, just getting a little more perspective. That'll be our next profit target. How many are still in? Oh, great call, Bionic. That is also another place, okay? If we take that range from low to high right there, and we've marked where that 88.6% retracement is, absolutely keep a little bounce on that, or keep a little eye on that. I mean, don't we have that leg base group of candles in that area too? That's right near the top of that range, okay? Which is what we kind of just reached into it. Yep. But is this leg base a pivot, or is it a buy territory? That's what you got to discover, okay? You know the difference between a pivot versus a buy territory or sell territory. Well, a lot of lessons to learn today, okay? Just a lot of learning reinforcement. It all started with that little story about the inside day. All right, so that sell territory, 41.25, 41.32 is now active on that 1 minute chart. S&P is very close to breaking below the prior session's range. Okay, you can see that on a daily chart over here. No real bounce yet on these stocks. So I'm just kind of holding on. Now I'm right at my feel good spot for the trade. Okay. All right, see you later, Jacob. Yeah, so let's just keep an eye on that. We're about 8 minutes away from the bottom of the hour. So price intersects down here with a buy territory at the bottom of the hour. Absolutely, we'll take the trade off there. Yeah, we were looking at bonds came back, so bonds are also dropping. RTY. Yeah, RTY approaching that buy territory. And yeah, if you go a little further over to the left, I mean, you're seeing that buy territory is also part of that dead space over here. Okay. So that could give us a significant bounce off of that area. And just from Fibonacci retracement, from low to high, that looks like it's going to be about a 38 or 50% retracement back down. Yeah, right there, it's right at the 38% retracement. A lot of technicians use that. Price rallied, it based, it rallied. I'm going to see if there's any leftover unfilled orders there. There may be some. We just have to determine if there's enough to change the direction back to the upside. Yeah, I just like only red candles when we're short, not green ones. All right. One more push. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 5 consecutive red candles. So if 6 is red, then I'm going to expect 2 more. Okay. When we start looking at the number of candles, consecutive red candles, consecutive green candles, often they're in 2s, 3s, 5s. Okay. 8s, it's rare for 8 and extremely rare for 13. Okay, so anytime you have 13 consecutive red candles going in one direction, you need to prepare for a potential reversal. Okay. Now that was a little doji at the bottom there. So we did have 5 red candles. So that's one of my clues right there. I'm out.
Order filled.
Okay. And now I'm expecting a couple of green candles coming back to the upside. And as we're approaching the bottom of the hour. Okay. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Caitlin. We'll go back over some of the levels before we leave. How many guys made some money on that trade? Okay, good. Even if you took the breakout early, that's fine, and took some profits. That's a beautiful thing. Okay. Yeah, some days we can have these little lessons where we just keep walking through the trade just methodically and slow and great job, everybody. It's all yours, Ken.
Awesome. Yeah, great job, everyone. I actually like days like today, personally, where, once we can stay with these moves like this, it's just about kind of positioning into them and finding those key breakout points. So, big fan of just, again, these longer running moves to the downside and finding ways, again, to stay with them, looking for the leg base, and then just managing your risk on the way down until potentially price turns to the upside. Nice job, Bionic. Took 2 successful breakout trades. Excellent. So you can see, as long as you're staying with the trend, I've just been really focused on the Dow on the 1 minute today. I haven't really been going to the other charts and just looking for ways to splice in. We can see we have, again, the 3 touches on the bottom side now. We just had another breakout. So if you can keep looking for the 3 touches, breakout points, and staying with those trades are often better than versus cycling around different charts. Yeah, I stayed on this one for the most part today, but you guys did great on some of the other setups too. I see Lou says still an S&P. Excellent job. Great job, everyone, today. So recap screen, again, these are going to be the same from this morning as far as our buy and sell territories, a little bit further away. Just want to take you out of the 1 minute time frame and out to a slightly larger time frame, just to see where we're at. So we got out of that consolidation phase where we're looking for the breakouts. Ultimately, we knew it was inside day, so taking those breakouts were elevated risk. Took the breakout to the upside, reversed against us, and that's when we started looking for that dead space to the downside. I think Matt mentioned that one, so be able to splice into it, take then the breakout to the downside. So now, in order to get back in, if you're not in right now, looking for the leg base group of candles on a pullback move. Looks like we found one right at the breakout point at 33.029. And then price coming back down. This is going to be more of a pivot point. So we see how price just bounced down and then came right back up. But keep looking to the left. So right below that pivot point, actually looks like it dipped into this area over here, where we can see we have the 3 touches of resistance and then our buy territory just below it. So I'm just going to go over the equity indexes and just see where we're at right now. Again, S&P, we came up, found that resistance. We didn't break those highs, but something that you'd want to keep an eye on too, now that we've been at this area once, twice. We did get that 3rd time up here, so potential breakout on the 15-minute time frame, S&P to the upside. Had that breakout to the downside below that support. This area we can see is more of a pivot point, so may get a bounce here, but then may also start going lower. Next area we're going to be looking at is right over here to the left, where we can see that resistance. And then we have a 7-minute buy territory at 4064.75. Wow, great job, Scott. Booked 570 so far. Yeah, not too shabby for an inside day, everyone. So great job, whether you did just break even or made some profits. It's all about just kind of learning what we're going through in the different steps that Jeff and I are taking. So great job on that. And still in S&P short. Amazing job, Scott. That's S&P waiting for the buy territory or a pullback, just looking for the leg base group of candles. Looks like we may have it up here. So at the origin of this move to the downside. But then again, as you guys mentioned this morning, make sure you're looking left and seeing where your leg base is located, because we can see that if you're choosing this one to go short on the pullback, it's also in a location where price has been there several times already, 3 times to be precise. So then at that point, we may be looking for the breakout to the upside. So maybe look for one a little bit lower, closer to the breakout point. See, going over to Nasdaq. See where we're at. So again, inside day, we had that breakout. It was good for that quick profit, and then it flipped back against us. Now we're getting close to that breakout point here as well. Looks like on the Nasdaq, prices tested this support area once, twice, 3, 4 times now. So I'd be curious to go to the smaller time frames on the Nasdaq, start looking for the leg base group of candles, and then we may see another sustained move to the downside on the Nasdaq. If we do get that breakout, there's a pivot point here, but not really a buy territory because it doesn't have the right picture. Maybe getting a bounce in this area, and I couldn't find the 3 touches on the top side. The more I actually saw the 3 touches on the bottom side, so then this would be another breakout point. So I'd say just go to the smaller time frames. I'll take a look now, actually, since we are getting close. Looking like we may break out on the Nasdaq. Let's see. We can see this is where we have that group of candles, testing that area right in here. Price has been here once, twice, 3. Now this is the 4th time. If you can find the leg base group of candles, then that's going to be where you're going to be placing your stop. Let's see. Or it may still be forming as well. We have a leg, it's another leg. Let's try a 2-minute.
Yeah, 2-minute had it.
Just had a leg, base, base, leg, leg, base. There we go. We got our pending sell territory right there. So taking the breakout on the Nasdaq and go back out to the 15-minute. Breakout would be below if you wanted to use this stack of orders over here, below this low at 12,565. Be right there, and then placing your stop at 12,657.75. May also find that price. If price keeps coming down and forms a new leg base, always use that one so that you can keep moving your stop a little bit lower. So we'll wait to see what happens on the Nasdaq. Russell. So getting real close to the 7-minute territory that we have marked here. So this one, if we're anticipating the right-hand side of the chart, price may drop into this buy territory. If it does, I'd also be anticipating price may drop in, come back up to find a sell territory, and then it may continue the move to the downside. So keep that in mind, and then we'd be looking for, if price does get a bounce back up, we'd be looking for the leg base group of candles right above that support area. And then lastly, the Dow. So again, we had our breakout to the downside. It looks like waiting for that pullback. If you're not in it now, waiting for the pullback, we had the leg base at 33,029. And then your stop would be at 33,089. And also price is just coming back down because this is going to be more of a pivot point. So looking to the left again is where we have our 9-minute buy territory. That's going to be at 32,614. So it's definitely one, seeing after the fact, would have loved to stay in it a little bit longer. I think I closed out the position. Let me see. Right in here when we got that breakout and then price came back in. I grabbed a quick profit when price started to come back up. And then of course it just kept going down. So that's where if it does go back against you, grab that small profit and then always look for ways to get back in so that you don't miss out on these longer running moves. Yeah, let me go back over to Nasdaq. Absolutely. Yeah, the buying area, let's see, 1 hour time frame. So really targeting this area down here on the higher time frame where we can see clear evidence of resistance, sell orders being used. And then we have a 10-minute buy territory that's going to be at 11,909.25. This area, you'll notice just above it, I have it marked with the green box because I saw that this area had tested this support area 3 times. So price coming back down now, that may be more elevated risk to choose a buy territory in that area. Yeah, great move on the Dow. Anyone still in the Dow? Or did you guys get out? No, someone was still in S&P, but anyone still in this one or in some of the other trade setups, or did you guys get out? Out of everything? Yeah, me too. But nice move and a lot of good lessons today. So hopefully this clarifies, just different things and how we, incorporate the pre-market routine, understanding its inside day and using that to our advantage in planning our trade setups. Anything you want to add, Jeff?
Yeah, I just wanted to, Russell is approaching that zone. This is one of the things that we talked about. I think Chris had some questions about this in our coaching session. So I wanted to kind of touch on that and then just kind of show people what we did in the coaching session. So next time people can come into that if they have the time. Grab that screen.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, this one's for you. Okay. Now notice I have the blue lines are a zone. I found it was like 45 minute. Okay. I found a leg base group of candles. Okay. And using 45 or 55, I'm sorry. But it was a higher time frame. And then when I broke the time frames down into smaller ones, I found some smaller zones inside that. Okay. And the smaller zones can help me manage my risk. Okay? So even down on the like the 15-minute chart, we have another zone that's in there. It's a little wider, and then we have a smaller zone inside of that. Okay. So as price is coming back down to this area, using a combination of those zones, I would target right here about this 1838, 1837 area as the place to look for the bounce within that larger time frame zone. Okay. And it was really, it was really nice to see your charts that you sent in, Chris, for the trade review, because that it tells us that you're ready for that information. Okay. And it's really important that you guys kind of understand that we can put all the information out there in front of you, but you're only ready for small chunks at a time until you integrate it into your trading plan. Okay. So the coaching sessions that Caitlin and I are putting on, we'll get some more on the schedule, okay, are really designed to kind of showcase a little bit about what we did. And I'll show you that just really quick. These were some of the trades last week that we took in the live trading room, right over here. Okay. And we're showing a lot of these and trades we took on breakouts. We're also talking about whether we're inside day, outside day. We're incorporating everything that Caitlin's bringing in the pre-market routine, bringing it in the prep screen, of course. And that's really important, especially the end of the session prep screen as we go into this, because some of these didn't hit during our session. Okay. And these were just the normal trades that we took. Okay. Now there were a couple of stop outs. I wasn't able to get all of the pictures. Okay. But I wanted to exploit some of the things that we did, talking about the dead space, pocket of points, and putting a lot of these together. We even got Daniel in here. This was a Discord group on Thursday. We were talking about different trade setups and stuff. So we had 4 really good days last week of trades that we were taking. Okay. And yeah, this is this was such a textbook play, but you had to illustrate it, and it was really nice on the natural gas. Okay, and of course these Caitlin's trades also were working abundantly. Okay, taking trades, showing the short breakouts, going with the trend. Okay, and some of these trades were executed after our session. Okay. And there we go. This was the end of day, buy territories, sell territories. And then it happened after the session. A lot of the zones that Caitlin's pointing out have been playing out very, very well. Okay. A lot of information that we're getting just demonstrating this. Now, the other big part of this is that we want to encourage you guys to send in your charts. Okay, send in your questions. See, there's a lot of aspects to this trading that we don't get just in a class or course. It's like, okay, now I'm going to go do it. And then what about this? What about that? And this is the opportunity once a week that we can review those charts and give you that piece of information so that you can start to incorporate that piece into your trade plan. This morning, we started off with an inside day. Okay, it looked like things were going to get really bullish and go to the upside, but we remembered, okay, IBM, Goldman Sachs going opposite direction. Futures were overbought relative to cash. Gaps fill often the same trading day. Okay, so there was an abundance of information. One other piece that kind of sticks out is that we saw that big move on gold in the pre-market or after the gold came in. So it's like, why did gold shoot up so much? Is that a clue, something I can watch next time when we're in an inside day, to anticipate that the markets may drop and gold running up? Okay, a lot of those things right there. So take advantage of some of the additional classes, the traders coaching that we're going to be doing. You'll see more of those on the schedule. And just allow us to give you those pieces of information during that time. But we need to see what you guys want and need. And that's when you send us your charts and say, I got into this trade, it worked out great. Don't know why I made money, or got into this trade and I lost. Not sure why it got stopped out. And then we can exploit some of those things. There's a couple comments in the chat. Hi, Jeff Klein. Can you comment on the difference between cash and futures being so great today? Yes, but remember the cash versus futures, okay, is much like us expecting the gap to be filled the same trading day. It's a piece of information, not necessarily a trade. See, if we're inside the prior day's trading range, I always have in the back of my mind, that I'm expecting the gap to fill that same trading day, unless it breaks outside of that range. Okay. Now, expecting it to fill does not necessarily mean that I'm going to take a trade unless it goes into a buy territory or sell territory. Okay. Even so, we didn't take the trade short up here. We had to wait for all the rules to come into play, find the leg base before the breakout. It became very systematic. Okay. So I get on the soapbox, but there's a lot of good things that were displayed today. The patience of an inside day, us waiting for things, not getting chopped up in all of it, realizing that a couple of the indexes like the S&P is no longer an inside day now. Nasdaq is still inside the prior day's trading range. And Dow just came very close to it, okay? And we also have that, we might just get a little slow drift down into these areas lower. There still may be some more downside, okay? But I would think most of the selling, most of the buying is going to be going on. And for the rest of the day, it might be a choppy grind until we get down into these areas, okay? Caitlin in Dubai is nods and answer. Don't tell her that. We need her back here.
It might be an odds enhancer. I like that one. I think we can add that. Oh, and I I haven't seen Gandar, Chris. I don't think I got his contact information, actually. Oh, he was part of your training the eyes with OTA, nice. And also just want to mention, so for, great job in your recap, Jeff, and that we also do have, so if you missed mastering the charts, the last time we did it, we are doing that. You might have seen it on our prep screen. That's going to be June, I believe 25th, 26th, and 27th. So if you go to our website and you missed it or want to attend this one, it's under the products page of our website. So you can sign up for that one there.
Yeah, and what's really important is the third day of that class is as you put all the information together, is we get to apply it in the marketplace. And that'll be a lot of fun. So I will see everybody in the Discord group tomorrow, and I'll send Daniel the link about 30 minutes before we start that session. And I'm going to focus a little more on just watching the tick charts and setting up some of the trades so that we can watch them play out. And we'll bring in and answer your questions. We want your participation. Daniel's always looking for somebody to do the pre-market prep so that we can, you guys can sharpen your skills on that. And if you don't know how to do the pre-market prep, well, there's a couple of good little 90-minute sessions that we do that we presented. And there's some spreadsheets that go along with that so you can collect that information. So that's all I have for right now. I'm not even going to trade the rest of the day. I'm going to enjoy that one.
It was a good day. I agree with you, Chris. A great day and great job with everyone's trade setups today, and a lot of good lessons too. So make sure that you incorporate this moving forward. The big one was it being an inside day and using that as a huge odds enhancer as far as the breakout trades. And we talked about doing that reverse. If we do reverse, just making sure that we still have the 3 touches, the like base, and getting into the trade setups that way. Alrighty, great job, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, and the recap is going to be the same. Yeah, so let me share my screen one more time, just so you guys need to take a picture of the recap screen, or if you missed the prep screen, it's going to be the same levels. And just make sure, good practice is taking these buy and sell territories, mapping them out on your chart setups, after the class, and just keep an eye on them and see, once they hit, what time of day is it, were they created on high or low volume, and start assessing these ones that, as Jeff mentioned, in the coaching session, a lot of these do hit, but they happen after the session. So just want to make sure that you guys keep an eye on them.
Yeah, best way is just to take the numbers and plot them on your charts. Just set up 4 charts, put these numbers on it. You don't have to put a lot of extra things on it. Just note that these zones, and then take the time to look left and verify the information. Okay, Caitlin is really good about putting the time frames on there as far as where she found leg base. So looking just a little bit further to the left, you can verify that information. And keep in mind, she verifies trend and volume, time of day, all of those come in, okay? So wishing everybody a great rest of the day. We'll see you in a Discord group tomorrow. Great job, Kate.
Good job, Jeff. Great job, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.